Do you really need an LLC to start your business or not? Every situation is different, so it would probably be a good idea for you to speak with an attorney first. That way they can guide you as to your personal situation. That being said, I'm going to explain to you a few different things about an LLC. That way you can be armed with a few good questions that you can ask your attorney when you go and meet with him about your particular situation. Before we go any further, what exactly is an LLC? An LLC is a limited liability company. Not corporation, but company. It's an entity that has many benefits if you're starting your own business. If you're starting a business by yourself, then you would probably want to start out with a single member LLC. If you have at least one other person with you who might not be a spouse, then you may want to look into a multi-member LLC. Now, to answer the question that we started the video out with, do you really need an LLC to start a business or not? Well, the answer is no. You don't need an LLC to start a business. You can actually run the business as a default entity, which is a sole proprietorship, which means that when you go to pay your taxes for your business on the income that you made, you will pay under your own Social Security number. Now, the difference is with an LLC, you won't pay under your Social Security number and your government name. You will pay under the name of the business and you will pay under the EIN number. If you do decide that an LLC is right for you, when you go through the process of signing up, you will be sent an EIN number. An EIN number is your employer identification number, and you will pay taxes under your employer identification number rather than your Social Security number. Now let's take a look at some of the things that are worth reviewing before making your ultimate decision of whether an LLC is right for you or not at this point. First of all, you have to take into consideration the expense. And if you live in the great state of California, it's $800 per year plus whatever the filing fee is. Now, each state will vary, and I'm not sure about what each state's filing fee is plus what their LLC is, but I know that California is the most expensive state. Me personally, I live in Florida, and to file an LLC in Florida, it's only $100 plus a $30 filing fee, and then an annual rate of renewal for $75 per year. And keep in mind, this is if you file and do it yourself. If you pay someone to do it for you, such as a lawyer, that price could really go up. Now, if you're just now starting up a small business with limited funds, you may not feel that coming out of your pocket for the expense of an LLC would be the best use of your funds. So you may choose that an LLC may not be right for you at this moment. And that's fine, because like I said, you can always file your taxes under a sole proprietorship as a default entity. But before you write off getting an LLC just yet, let's take a look at some of the benefits of having one. For starters, one of the benefits of owning an LLC is if anyone ever decided to sue the company for whatever reason and won, the most that they would be able to get is whatever is owned by that business, whatever assets, inventory, property, or anything else that that business owns. That's the most they would be able to get. They wouldn't be able to go after your personal assets or anything that you own personally. Now, if you opt not to go with the LLC and decide to run your company under sole proprietorship, just understand that if someone does decide to sue you, they will be able to go after all of your personal assets. Now, if you don't have any personal assets, it may not be a big deal to you, but just understand that it leaves yourself open for more liability. So for instance, if you own a car, or if you own a house, or if you're buying your house and have built up equity into that house, or if you happen to inherit some large inheritance, and you can end up liable to pay for all the damages yourself. So that pretty much covers the number one benefit, which we'll call asset protection. What is the meaning of an asset? What is an asset? An asset is anything that you own or have that actually puts money into your pocket. And a liability would be the opposite. It would be anything that is causing money to come out of your pocket. The next benefits to consider of owning an LLC are the tax breaks. Let's review a little history first so that we have a better understanding of these tax breaks. In 1943, the United States was in the middle of World War II, And they introduced the Temporary Tax Act, which meant that Uncle Sam was able to get his hands into your pocket before you ever saw a penny of your check. So you were taxed for Social Security taxes and you were taxed for medical taxes. After you got taxed twice from your paycheck by working a job, you had to get taxed a third time on everything else that you paid for. Food, gas, clothes, anything that you pay for, you're going to pay a third tax. You have to pay taxes again. And the worst part about all this is you're paying taxes from your gross income. Your gross income is the total amount of money that you make versus the net income is what you receive after taxes. This Temporary Tax Act never went away. Once Uncle Sam got his hand into your pocket, he never took it out. So it became the Current Tax Act. And that's how we pay taxes as earned wage earners. But when you own a business, the way you get taxed from the government changes. Therefore, that $130 investment in Florida into an LLC can really save you a whole lot more money and actually make you more money if you know how to use it properly. We're going to keep this simple. Let's say that you make $1,000 a week gross and you're in a 30% tax bracket. So you take home net $700 a week. At the end of the year, you will have grossed $52,000, but your net will be $36,400. That means you paid the government $15,600 in taxes before you ever saw one penny of your own money. And then when you finally get your money and you get ready to go and pay for all your daily expenses again, you have to pay taxes. Now let's take a look at that same $1,000 a week income example, but let's take a look at it with owning a business under an LLC. Now let's take a look at a little bit more history. In 1981, President Ronald Reagan signed off on the ERTA Act, ERTA, the Economic Recovery Tax Act. Now the incentive behind this act was to get more people to start businesses, because the more businesses in an economy, the more money flows in and out through the economy, and the more the economy thrives. So the incentive was to get more people to start businesses by giving them tax breaks and depreciation on their capital expenses and anything that they purchase for their business. So understanding this, you can write off things that you buy in your business and you can list them as expenses to subtract from your gross income. That way, when you go to pay taxes, you will only pay on net what you actually made less expenses. Whether you decide to run your business under an LLC or a sole proprietorship is entirely up to you. If you do choose to run it under a sole proprietorship, you should at least consider getting a separate bank account, because you want to keep your business bank account separate from your personal expenses bank account, especially if you're going to be writing things off. And this makes more sense with an LLC, because if you put your business into one bank account, your personal banking into another bank account, and you buy everything you need with a separate credit card, it's a lot less likely that you'll end up sending up red flags to the IRS for an audit. A separate bank account for your LLC business is beneficial because you can use that business to help you buy a piece of real estate. If you're running a business that is cash flow positive, which means it's making you money rather than losing you money, so you're recording a gain rather than a loss, then you can go and find you a piece of property later after you've been in business for, maybe a year or two, and you've shown records that your business is profitable. You can go to a bank and become eligible for a loan. You can put down a down payment on a property rather than renting a property and throwing your money away. You can put a down payment on it and you can rent to yourself. So you put a down payment on this property and you get a loan for the rest of the payment for the property from the bank or from a lender. And you put that in a separate LLC, a real estate holdings LLC. And then you have your business LLC, which you move into that building and you charge yourself rent. Now, let's say the going rent is, we'll just make an example here, about $1,400, $1,500 a month to rent that building in that particular area. You can boost it up to about 16, 17, 18, whatever, a couple hundred over, and you can charge yourself that amount of money. And what you'll do is you'll pay your real estate company from your business a couple $100 more, and you'll write that off in one business. And then when you collect in your real estate business, you'll take the money that's owed for the mortgage, you'll pay off the mortgage from a check from that separate LLC company, and then you'll pocket the difference as a cash flow. So you're creating cash flow, you're buying yourself a piece of property, you're developing equity which your business is paying for, and you can depreciate the building if it's a commercial property over 39 years, a little different from the residential, which is 27 and a half. And by using some of these tax loopholes that an LLC can provide you with, you can really put yourself in a good equity position to build yourself some equity in a piece of property and real estate. And at the same time, you can save more money in taxes and put a little bit more money in your pocket through a cash flow. So even though you don't necessarily need an LLC to start a business, you can definitely see the benefits of having one. So I hope this video was helpful for you. And if it was, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below what you think about an LLC. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this about business, if you have any more questions, I can make another video to touch on those subjects as well.